Okay, well, good morning. This is a quick little video to show how you can use the business card layouts and paste them into a Word document, and then you don't have to reprint them, the front graphic, because it doesn't really change unless the name changes. So what we're doing here is we've captured just the back or the data part of the layout, and we're pasting it in position. So you can see right here I've got the locust from the database captured, pasted in the Word doc, and now I'm going to move it on top of the existing locust card. I could just as well crop out and then put the two things together, but this kind of shows me where to put it. So first of all, I'm going to select in front of text so I can move it around. That's kind of it. This way I have got the cards in place and I'm updating the data card part of it and just putting them in position. So let's go back and I'll show you how to do the next one, which is the wasp. There's some minor things that have to be adjudicated or administered here as well. Where am I going? The wasp. Light mech, wasp. Okay. And then jumping down to the business card layout. And then just... here's what I was talking about. This is the older version of the track for damage that we don't use. We've moved beyond, we've evolved beyond it. So the track for the hits, little zeros that we're putting in. Now remember, a lot of this is necessary only because a player wants to keep their damage secret. Otherwise, we use the O-rings. We put the O-rings on the game table and be done with all the other roster keeping. In most cases, that's easy to do. When it comes to the system management, these hits 1 through 6, those are, when you mark them on the game table, you're going to need special, we use discs, graphic discs, to show that kind of stuff happening. And there isn't a count of the hits. When you roll the system management and you get one of those 6 things, it immediately happens. That's the other difference here. The roster, with its record keeping, allows you to tick off the circles, and when the circles are filled, then the action, then the whatever destructive thing happens. Up until then, it's just simply, you're surviving, you're making it through. But remember, everything depends on your armor and your agility and the pilot skill. So, all right. So here you can see. Okay, so we've got, and by the way, there's a new section down here for the incremental hit limit, and this guy's incremental hit limit is a 2. He can only take 2 misses before on the third one it becomes an actual real hit. This is our way of compensating for situations where a player will roll a die, and it'll be like, what? How could I possibly have missed that? How could I have missed that shot? It seems ridiculous. Whoa, that can't be. Well, we don't like to hear that. And that happens in any game, right? Remember, you're playing a game, you roll the dice and you go, what? What? There's no way I could have missed that. Well, there is, and it happens, and it's not happy. So we implemented this incremental hit thing to take that down a little notch. and to say to the player, okay, look, you actually have a chance. You're probably in a situation where you're outclassed, or the armor of the target is too much, or your weapons are too weak, but you do have a chance. And that's what the incremental hit thing is about. But remember, there's a huge caveat. Actually, the one and only caveat. Incremental hits are only legally able to be recorded if the firing item can actually cause a hit in the first place. If your firing item is not strong enough, then you can't even cause a hit to begin with. So there's no incremental hit possible. When you roll the dice and miss, well, you won't even be rolling the dice. Because if your weapon is insufficient, or other parameters make it insufficient to cause a hit, you won't be rolling the dice. Anyway, just saying. Okay, so now I'm going to capture this. And of course, Snagit is, for this kind of thing, all these kind of capture tools are indispensable. Like a wireless, or a non-corded, cordless glue gun. All right, then click somewhere in the page, paste, right mouse click, and do in front of text, and we're moving it in front of the wasp. So that when we're done with all this, we can then print the page and fold the things in half and stick them in the little, business card sleeves. So we don't have to laminate. And besides, I also wanted to make a note, and I did this morning to one of our members, in that laminating a piece of paper and then trying to fold it isn't exactly conducive to an easy fold. There are other laminate materials out there, clear plastic, self-adhesive, things like that. But most of the time, that produces a fold that's hard to actually make this thing stay folded. Laminate on paper, or laminate on anything, doesn't like being folded. The plastic isn't conducive to it. You can score it with a knife as long as you don't go through the paper. That may make a difference. But laminating and then trying to fold, if you've done it, you can see that it just it doesn't want to stay folded. So putting it inside a business card sleeve, you can get them by the hundreds on Amazon, is definitely better. And it's, wet erasable. You can use it on wet erase marker and you're off to the races. Okay, so that's what we're doing. That was all I wanted to do, was talk about this little thing about putting the business card art into a Word document and then printing it out. And then folding it and then putting it inside a sleeve. So that's it.